Usually, when people feel bad, they go to therapy. Well, I record AutoHotkey videos. I shit you not, doing this makes me happy. And after moving, whenever I'm not doing a video, I feel fucking horrible. So leave a like if you want me to feel better. Thank you for being manipulated, and today we're going to make something really nice. I have, I think, three libraries. String by Descolada, which I actually pull requested to this and this method now, I guess. What this library does, let me show this off. So you have a string, let's call it var, because I'm really bad at naming. If you've seen my main channel videos, you would know I'm horrible at naming. And let's guess what's going to be in the string. Of course, because once again, I'm bad at naming. I want to get the length of that string. Usually you do this, but that's kind of wacky. In pretty much every other language, you just have a length property to the string. Not in HK though, and at least to me, string length feels kind of weird. So with this library, you can do this, and it will be the same thing. That's amazing. Same thing goes for regex match, although it now works in a more sensible way. So say you have that, and you say regex match. Let's match every something. Okay, sure, for example. Usually, regex match returns the amount of matches, which is ridiculous. It's just so stupid. Now, it actually returns a match object. So, let's get an infos. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. I did. The magic of a pause hotkey. Anyway, we want to get the type of the match object so we can confer that. What? Trust me, it's an object. That's the first time I'm seeing this. Huh. Interesting. What? Huh. I'm incredibly surprised, but basically it's not an integer. If it was the amount of matches, it would be an integer. It's not. It's essentially an object. And by the way, the info at the end has nothing to do with my infos function. In case you thought that, you probably didn't. So, you might say, oh, it was so nice to be able to do this if if regex match var expression and then you do something. Because if there are matches, then continue. If there are none, don't in the if. Well, the thing is, objects in AutoHotkey are actually true. So let's create an object. It's empty, as you can see. We do an infos of that object. Or rather, no, we do it differently. If object, then info that says it's true. However, if it's not true, then an info that says it's false. And it's true. So even if an object is false, wait, what am I saying? Even if an object is empty, it's still considered true. So you can still use that if something trick. I'm just realizing that I wanted to make a video about something, and I'm making a video about something completely different. Alright, 2 videos then. So, but if there are no matches, there will be no object, meaning this match object variable will be unset. And let's check this out. If, sure, I'm really bad at naming. That's something that you can do in beta 12, by the way, if you didn't know. So, if this, or rather, yeah, if this is true, basically, then info, it's true. Why did I delete all that? It's, fuck's sake, it's true. Else info is false. Well, that's wacky. Hold on. I don't even remember how I did this test. Hold on. Maybe like this. Huh. Okay, let's do this a bit differently. Let's try to search for A and do that thing with the match object. See? This is unset because there is no A in string. And even though it's unset, it's just considered facile. Yep, it's considered facile. It's considered false. So you can still use the same trick. And now it actually returns what you want, the match object. And in case you didn't know how to use that object, match object and just that is the entire match. And if you want to refer to specific matches, say, let's go here and we will catch st and then re and then ng. So this will be the first group, this will be the second group, and string will be the whole match. And let's see that. Infos. Hold on. So the full match, first of all, then match object 1, and infos match object 2. We don't need these anymore, and let's run it. This is the full match, the first group, as you can see, and the second group. If you know regex, or at least learned a bit of it, you will know this, and this is how you use regex match, the default one. It's just that there is a more wacky way you get that match. You have to use this and then use that object, which I think is just silly. So when you use it as a method, here you go, it just returns the object. Amazing. And a bunch of stuff have been remade into properties and methods. Now, this looks like a property, or rather, this looks like a method. Why can I use it as a property? This is a question that I just got in my head, and I'll explain how this works. This has to do with classes. When you add a property or a method to a class, let me show you an example, that's how you usually do it. However, this library does it in a more efficient, I guess I could say, way. In a better way, I would say. So, you can add a call property. Basically, what happens when you call this property? Because as I explained in some of my videos, methods in AutoHotkey are actually just properties that you can call. On that a bit later. maybe not in this video, but basically that just implements a get property. So basically what happens when you try to get the length, which is this, or rather this. Right now you're getting the property. If it was like this, you're setting the property. So when you're getting the property, you're giving this method, which is actually a method, this variable. So this is automatically passed into this. So you can see this as, and you put var here. That's what's happening essentially, which is pretty cool how this works. So there's length, have no idea what this does, probably useful though, to upper, to lower, to title. So as you can see, many names have been renamed into something more palatable. For example, when I'm using the replace method on a string, I already know that it's a string. So str in the str replace makes it's unnecessary. So it's not there. Really smart renaming scheme. There's find, which is the renamed in string, and a bunch more stuff, most of which I don't use, but the things that I already mentioned, plus maybe one thing or two, is already amazing enough. So I'm scrolling through this code and you can see that there is a lot of really specific stuff. Concat. This is weird, isn't it? Like, you get a string and it's now what is in between of the other strings that you pass. It's kind of weird. Maybe you like that though, and that's okay. There's also something really, really useful called add. I'm not sure it's actually called that. That's why I'm scrolling. Okay, sure, let's try to now. Are you sure? lpad. Is that? Yes, lpad and rpad. So you give a string and then you want to add this string 5 times to the left, and that's what you get. Same thing, but to the right. That is so big. It's not like it's difficult to implement, as you can see, but it's just annoying to do when it should really be just a method. And now it is. It's an amazing library, truly. And did you know that I actually pull requested some formatting, so it's now more consistent? Lunatic. Actual fucking lunatic. So, where can I get this library? I actually leave a link to it in the description. The first link will be the link to the full repo with all the libraries by Descalada, and the second link will be a link to this library specifically. Pretty sure you don't need any dependencies, otherwise they would be there. Yeah, there are none. Amazing library. I really recommend it. It doesn't it's essentially syntax sugar. It's made for things to feel better, pretty much. So it's not revolutionary in how you use AHK, but it makes using AHK so much nicer. Now, another library. JSON? Well, first of all, I gotta mention, if you're scared of switching to V2 because, oh, there's no libraries, and I use JSON a lot, there's no JSON library, you're lying. That is not true. There is very much a JSON library that I personally use. It has parse and stringify, the only two things that you need. For most things, to be fair. So let me show how that works. So yeah, that's just a whack Vim hotkey. So say you have a JSON file. You specify JSON, stringify, and give it a, or rather parse. You use parse and give it a path to your file, either relative. If you're, I'm not even sure if you can use relative. Not sure. I always use absolute paths, so I don't know. Basically, you specify it a path, and now this object is a map of maps of maps of maps and so on. Let's look at this JSON. See, these are called objects in JSON. However, maps in V2 are better than objects for pretty much every application in V2, and in AHK overall, objects are mini classes. So, if you want to use an object for storage, use a map instead. And that's why this library turns objects, JSON objects, into maps. Keep that in mind, because I couldn't figure it out without a debugger. But with that information, I'm like, oh, I get this object, and then I can want to delete something, like, say, what do I never gonna finish? The Boys. That show fucking infuriates me. It's difficult to watch. So I go, The Boys, boom, that whole object is deleted because I used the proper method to use for a map or an array. Same thing, but for an object, I'm pretty sure there's something different, and I tried that first. So that's how you use it, and then when you made your changes on the JSON object, you have to first you have to stringify it again. Strig? Seriously, strig. Oh, just object. Yeah, brain rot. So you stringify that object again, and this is now a string that you can use to write onto that file. Maybe there's a more efficient method to work with JSON, but that works very well for me. That's how I automatically take care of this whole file. So I just get this string with stringify, and then use my thing, write file, which I showed you in my last video, I think, or the one before the last. You do the path. It's not the actual path because it doesn't matter. Like, you'll know your path to your JSON file. And text is just object string. Yep, string. So that's how you operate on JSON. Now, by default, it will be a single line, I think. So it won't be as readable, but there's something that you can add that changes that behavior. This. So the space parameter of the stringify method, basically you specify your indenting. By default, I think it's literally nothing. I added 3 spaces, which is what I use. Not my library. Once again, not my library. Here we go. Boom, I used 3 spaces, and now every time I stringify a JSON object, it's now correctly indented. So I really recommend changing that default, because why would you always pass that or pass different things? Just change it, and here you go. Cool. Any more libraries that I want to show off? Well, print. Yes, it's that simple, but where can it be used? I gotta change this hotkey. I gotta. So, essentially, when you use the run script, I think, yeah, run script command from with VS Code, if you're using this extension for AutoHotkey v2, it actually pops up in your output panel. And print works in that output panel. Personally, I just have a hotkey to run my test script. So I generally use that, and I use infos. However, print is very good because it automatically converts objects into what you want. So you can like print hello world. Would you look at that? You can finally do this in AutoHotkey. Woohoo! So that's pretty nice. You can use that to test stuff up, and here you go. However, one thing that I have to mention, if you use print and then run this script not from within VS Code, it will give you an error. That's why I changed it a bit. I added try statements. So it will try to basically print to the console. But if there is no console, there will be no error, because why would I want that error? Do keep in mind that this library requires the JSON library that I showed you off. By the way, these libraries that are not mine, I'm gonna leave the links to them in the description. And Thugby, I imagine that's how you pronounce him, has a lot of libraries, amazing ones. I mean, come on, he has Chrome AHK, and the creator of Chrome AHK, Geek Dude, said that, oh wow, he actually solved an issue I couldn't solve. Imagine? Holy shit. So, worth using, at least by pure hearsay, but cool. And let's see if I have anything else that I want to show off. Oh, by the way, Thugby also has gdip for v2, so just, I mean, go ahead and switch already. Be real. No, I don't think so. So, thank you for watching this video, and in the next one, in I think 2 days, I'll actually come around to covering what I wanted to cover in the first place. Thank you for watching, leave a like, subscribe to my main channel also, and to this channel, and have a good one. Bye bye.